We're joined by Dr. David Weiss, an orthopedic surgeon at UVA Health. He's sitting down with Casey.
All right, thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, great to have you. And we're talking about some of the fractures, the types of fractures that older patients are at risk of experiencing. What would you say some of those are?
Yeah, so one of the things that happens when people are younger, their bones are pretty strong and they're protected. Women in particular are protected by estrogen. As people get a little bit older and women go through menopause or people get into their 60s and 70s, they get at risk for what's called osteopenia, or low bone density. And people can sustain fractures of wrist, shoulder, elbow, hip. Those are the ones we really worry about because those really put people in the hospital, tend to have surgery. And so we know that if you sustain one of these fractures, we call them fragility fractures because they're sort of low energy fractures, your risk of actually dying goes up quite a bit, 2 to 3 times a normal population. And so we think that if we can keep people from having these types of fractures, basically keep their bones strong bones, strong people. And so we're really trying to prevent these types of fractures.
Yeah, keep them from happening in the first place.
Yes.
Are there any steps that seniors can take to help reduce their risk for these types of fractures?
Yes, there is. The first thing is to get weight-bearing exercise. So walking, walking is probably the easiest one. Working out with weights, going to the gym. Yoga classes are great for exercises. There's a lot of classes in town that are sort of designed for seniors. Tai Chi type classes, Pilates. So these are the types of things that really help and do that. And then diet is important, getting good protein, getting good vitamin D, calcium. And then probably the thing I would really say is people should take an interest in their bone health. Check what's called your FRAX score, F-R-A-X. It's an online risk calculator. And they can kind of see, hey, what's my risk for having a fracture? Or what's my friend's risk? What's my aunt, uncle, mom, dad, grandma? So those are important things to keep in mind.
And then kind of adjust accordingly.
Exactly.
And be safer.
Figure out your risks.
Right.
Yes.
What would you say are some of the treatments available if somebody does suffer one of these fractures?
Well, hopefully what our goal is if we can figure out who might be at risk for suffering a fracture. Maybe they have a low energy fracture of their wrist and we can treat that with a cast, or maybe they have to have surgery, but it's not so bad, and then we try and identify that they have a problem and prevent them from having a hip fracture. We have a lot of new medications these days. A lot of the older medications had some bad side effects or potentially serious side effects. Some of our newer classes of medications are really much more beneficial, better side effect profile, and they keep people's bones strong. And so it's really a worthwhile trade-off.
Awesome, that's good news. And tell us a little bit about your geriatric fracture clinic. You have that. What services are offered there, and how can people reach out if they want to learn more?
Yeah, so our new center at Ivy Road, our orthopedic center at Ivy Road, we've just opened a geriatric fracture clinic to try and address that need, the population of people who have potential for these fractures. Basically, we would ask if people are interested in coming to see us, 924-BONE is our telephone number. There's also a website, uvahealth.com, or under orthopedics. But basically, they can come and get evaluated. We can see them. We can see what their risks are. We can do a bone density test. There's something called a DEXA test that people can get. Can meet one of our great people who specialize in geriatric fractures. Laura Myers is our new nurse practitioner, and she's fantastic. And she'll see people who have risk for fragility fractures, these low energy fractures, and really get them hopefully back up in action, keep their bones strong. That's kind of the main thing.
Yeah, something we're fortunate to have right here in our community.
It's been great.
That's awesome. Anything else you want to add real quick before we go today?
Just that we really encourage people to take an interest in their bone health. We want people to pay attention to it and not ignore it. If it's you, if it's a family member, if it's a friend, just try and don't ignore these potential problems and keep a bigger problem from happening.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Yeah, of course. It's great. Thanks.
We'll have you back soon. And Steve, back to you.